Yeah, that's fine. So thank you for everyone for showing up and having interest in our very exciting venture. So about what is it? A decade ago, I came across a very interesting technology at the time at the desk of a research organization and meant to be deployed at a satellite for propulsion purposes. And the whole thing is about pressureless gas storage. And I was aware of the issues in the industry, that there is sufficient fire suppression, but actually there's none. And if you can bring this embryonic technology, as it was at the time, to a real business, that was exciting to me at that time, and it still excites me today. So I show you a few slides to give you a quick impression of what we have done so far. And we by now understand that we bring to the industry, to the industrial fire suppression industry, the safest, the greenest, the simplest, and actually also the most economical industrial fire suppression with a disruptive technology. And to brief you on that, is this visible, the second slide? Sorry, so here I have a better visual. So today's technology is about over 100-year-old, and it's inherently dangerous as we talk of the fire suppression in applications beyond water and foam. So you deploy gases and they're stored in high pressure gas cylinders. And look around on the internet and you still will find lethal incidents year by year. So the industry also deploys, apart from inert gases, also chemical gases inside these kind of bottles, and they impact the environment and our human life. And then to summarize, they also are difficult and costly in design, transport, installation, and maintenance. And so the technology that what excited me already some years ago is all about the cool nitrogen gas generator. And here you see an example of the one that we currently have in our portfolio, but we will make many more sizes. That's 100% safe. And as I said, the gas is there in a chemical mixture, in a chemical block, without any pressure, and it can sit there for years, still it is deployed. And only when it is needed, it will produce the gas at ambient temperature, at a low pressure rate, and therefore it is seen as non-destructive fire suppression, full stop. And of course, it's easy in design, transport, and installation. If you have more interest, we can show you all the differences. And then to finish, it requires this piece of the whole solution, doesn't require any maintenance, and that relieves the end customer of a lot of headaches. Then in the context of this conference that we are all going to, it was not the purpose of our business 10 years ago, but then it happened also that we are very green, so to say. And if the industry would switch to the nitrogen from our generators, then the switching would bring over time 7 to 10 million megatons per year. And that's only the part, about 3% of the park that is being released each year in gas for actual fire suppression or for test purposes or for anything like that. So that is a very nice benefit of our technology as well. Then to give you a quick idea of where it is deployed. So at the moment, we have gas generators that are well to be used in what we call object protection. So these are cabinets, all sorts. There you can imagine there's electricity inside. That's usually the cause of the problem. You can have them in any room, in any factory, and so on. And that's where we are. And it will not be long that we move on to room protection. We already are very much talking with the industry about battery energy storage systems. As you all know, that's where Robert was referring to, the lithium-ion battery problem. And has been a lot of research already done, and there seems to be a good solution in combination with early detection in combination with nitrogen as the method basically to prevent the start of a thermal runaway, because that's the problem. And then we will move on to, well, to all the examples that you're seeing, all with this cool gas generator. Then a few words on the team. Well, you see me on the left, and we have Edwin Verver in the call as well. He's on the third picture with a background in marketing and sales, but already working with Exxfire for the last 9 years. And then we are accompanied by another 8 people, but 2 others to mention is Robert Minkers. He's an early investor in us. He has been retired from Philips, lives in Atlanta, and he ran the Philips show in the US for a long time. And then we have to the right, we have Joost Demming, and he is our factory director and the designer of the generators, and also for the production scaling. He's a chemist by training. And then to conclude, just as this is not a full pitch, but just to give you a flavor of where we are. So I think we are, I would say, early stage, but we have significant sales acceleration since Q3 last year, despite Corona, I have to say. So our commercial efforts were quite hampered, but our customers still pursued the project they had. And so you give you an idea, so we sell to Siemens, and we are well connected to the other market leaders, Kidde and Johnson Controls, and even up to Nomi Bozai in Japan, that we are talking about a distribution contract over there. And we're also being sold into Singapore. Certifications, which are key to really get going, even more than we do today, are underway. We're already working for 1.5 years for a European and EMEA certification, and we are there almost. And then we have started also with UL in Chicago to get entry into the USA and other markets. Then a word on generator production, because that's the key technology. We figured out and find out that we had to move it in-house, and that we can say really can make improving our margins. And if you look at the numbers, it will be very CapEx low. So that's the right thing to do. And then to finalize, we have a detailed business plan developed over the years. We will turn EBITDA positive in 2023, and there's substantial upside in the business plan. To give you an idea, the market that we are targeting right now is close to $5 billion, and it will grow to 10 by 2030. I think that this for the moment. I hope you will join me in this exciting journey. And I see that the makeup of all the funds in this talk are about early stage. So, and the ticket size are in the range that you were mentioning. So that for the money side that we're looking for.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Harm. I don't know if anybody, I mean, what I'd like to get as part of this session is simply comments, questions, observations. You have any insight in where you think the market's going, any helpful tips, other funds that may be interested as well, even no particular order. You don't need contribution from everybody, but I'd like to get some contributions from as many of you as we can fit in for the next couple of minutes. I'd like to do a stop at 1/4 past the hour, set this up for a 45-minute session. So anybody want to kick things off? Mike, any insight, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of questions that I have. Maybe Harm can try to answer them. I'm just wondering, for the system that you have come up with, is it for a new setup, or it can be a change or retrofit the current system?
It is suitable for both. It is retrofit and for new. Yeah.
Okay, and it is for retrofit. I mean, how difficult it is to retrofit it? Does it entail a change of the whole fire suppression system that's really in place, or you just need to change a portion of that?
I see many variations. I do have Edwin in the call, and he's way more into that. Edwin, are you able of answering that on the retrofit?
Yeah, Edwin, if you could unmute, please.
We could stop sharing too. We the screen.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Thank you, Harm.
I
Good suggestion, Eric.
unmuted myself now. It is object protection is considered additional fire safety. So you're mitigating fire risk, which is abundantly available in all kinds of businesses. And it doesn't require a complete adaptation of the current fire suppression or fire detection system. It's just an addition to. And to give you an example, we have a big installation at a truck manufacturer here in the Netherlands, and they had a very small fire in a cabinet, and that fire set off the sprinkler installation, and that completely flooded the production floor and crippled the production for about 6 weeks. And can you imagine, those guys are producing 200 trucks a day. And 6 weeks of non-production due to a very small fire. So they did an analysis of the potential fire risks within their production facility, and then they came up with an installation of about 35 cabinets that needed additional safety, and that's where we came in, and we are securing those business critical cabinets now with our solution. Yeah.
Okay, right. Thanks for that, Erwin. One more question I have. You mentioned about certification. What kind of certification do you need, for you to actually have this system in place? Do you need to have different certification for different geographical areas? And how long is the process to get a certification up?
Well, to say, we started selling without certifications. So the Siemenses of this world say, well, we can bring the product already to the market, but there will be customers that do not want to have the product for the moment. So it really depends on the customer. That, the ones are easier and the others still like to have the stamp on it. Then on how long it takes, well, we started for the European market and Middle East and parts of Africa. We started with CMPP last year, July, and we are now close to finalizing. And they brought out a norm, because in the beginning there was not even a norm. For a new technology, there's usually not a norm. And you have to ask the certification agencies to produce a norm. And so CMPP worked on that, I think, for a full year. And the norm came out last year, February. And we started in July because we knew where the norm was going, and we could, prepare for the product. And then on the UL side, that's a way longer story. That took many years, but we are now, or have already started with UL, and UL is about getting basically worldwide acceptance of our cool gas generator. So the details there, Edwin is very much into the certification area there. So if you want to have more details, then Edwin is clearly he's in the lead with the certification. But long story short, on that end, UL has changed its test protocols to our liking, to where we think the applications are, and to the size of our generator, or the current one. And we are now just in the finalization of getting started with the test. And we expect the test in itself, they say 4 to 5 months. We expect a bit longer, say 6, and that there will be another 3 to 6 months to sign off on committees and God knows what. So a full year is expected there.
I think, Harm, it's probably worth mentioning too that we have passed through the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency,
Yes.
And have a clear bill of health there as well.
Yeah, that in itself took about 2 years to get there. So we have also now the acceptance of EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, to get into the U.S. market. Yeah.
That's great.
Okay,
If
great.
I
Thanks.
could, Raphael, if I could ask you, I would have thought that Ecuador has quite an estate of assets that could benefit from this technology. I don't know what what your first impressions were, but I'd be interested in your comments if you're happy to jump in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you, Robert, for the question. The first impression that I got here when I was seeing those storage facilities that you mentioned, model data centers, and anything that all those systems that might control our storage assets, where we're planning to become to scale up the development of storage in the US and Europe. I think that could be a potential direct application. I have less experience on the oil and gas installations given my background, but I suspect that this solution could also be applicable offshore, especially given Equinor's strong focus in safety and security. So looking forward to continuing the conversation on this.
Okay, yes. Yeah, we are in contact with oil and gas companies, and yeah, so there makes sense that we have some interesting segments there as well.
All right, well, maybe something for for post this call. Hey, Frederick, guys, didn't know if you had any questions, any interest in Exxfire. Just interested in what you think of the space, and is that an area of interest for you guys or no?
Thank you, Robert. For us, unfortunately, it is not connected to our strategic focus. So this is not a firm we would look further into, although it's very interesting. Thank you for your pitch.
And Nicholas, Richard, Victoria, I didn't know if you had any comments on Exxfire or even any observations on their program. Whoever wants to jump in. Richard, you've unmuted first. You want to?
Yeah, nothing major other than that. I mean, it's. I thought overall the message was quite clear in terms of a good amount of initial traction. Obviously, it sounds like a lot of work in the background over the years to get to the readiness in terms of certification and so on. And sounds very interesting. I think I guess the devil's always in the detail in terms of the focus of which markets are really going to be moving forward quickest. But I thought the initial impression was very good.
Thank you.
Harm, you've had some pretty reasonable revenue traction this year. I can't recall exactly what your on target earnings are this year, but I thought you're starting to edge into seven figures. Is that right?
The 7 figures over the million. Now we will be just short of that, but we will grow as fast as we did last year. Well, we grew despite Corona, and we will continue to do so. So it will be not far from the 1 million. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, Victoria, Nicholas, I didn't know if you had any contribution or any observations on this area of the industry. Nicholas, I appreciate that you. Do I remember that your mandate is U.S. Only, or do you venture further afield?
Yeah, that's correct. So from an investment perspective, this is a bit beyond our reach, but the technology itself is fascinating. We have a couple of companies that are operating in the kind of industrial manufacturing space.
Nicholas, may I add
broadly?
Oh, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
No, to make it really live, we are not. Well, of course, we are not far from U.S. entry. The parties that we all know them, they know us, and we talked with well, let's put a name there, with Kidde already 2 years ago. They want to bring it around the world, and under one condition, and that is if we are ready to scale. Well, I will not bother you about the details, but now we are. We were 2 years ago, and then we have another interest from another American company. It will show up next week here with their innovation director, and that's particularly about our larger generator that we meant to bring out very shortly. So we have now this size, and we'll bring it to larger sizes. So to tap, for instance, on this battery energy storage market, which is kind of hot right now. And people are looking for solutions, and the nitrogen seems to be it. And it's not our advertising; it's really about research done by some companies. But Siemens, I mentioned the name a couple of times, but they spend most of the energy in it. Basically, their headquarters in Switzerland, in Zug, they invested a lot of money in finding out what to do with this real problem for the energy transition.
Well, thank you, Harm.